Greetings, I'm the Chappers.
And I'm Lee.
And we are doing for you a very interesting demonstration of
the new POD HD series.
Yeah!
You guys probably saw the video that I did about a month ago on the very first look of the POD HD500. And during that video, all I really did was talk about the features and just play the presets. And there was mixed comments about the presets, all the usual stuff about them being over the top, and that I plugged it into a Blackstar amp rather than DIing straight into the interface. That you're all correct. The presets are terribly over the top.
Well, some of them are correct.
A lot of them are over the top. And plugging into the Blackstar obviously meant that there was a bit of the sort of Blackstar characteristics. So today's demo is all new tones. We're actually, in this particular demo, we're going to make a tone for the Monkeylord here. We're DIing straight into the interface, so what you're hearing is just the pod. And we're going to close up on the HD500 so that you can see what I'm doing as well. So no tricks or anything like that. Just so you guys know, all my demos at the moment, we're just focusing on the HD500. There are two other POD HDs in the family, the 300 and the 400. They actually use exactly the same tone engine as the HD500. So all the amp settings are identical in the three units. The only difference is that the HD500 can have more effects running simultaneously than the smaller ones. So the smaller ones will do 4 effects plus your amp modeling. The HD500 will do 8 effects. Most of the patches that I've actually created probably only use 4, no more than 4 anyway. So
I'll have to get 8 in the Monkeylord effect then.
We'll get 8 in the Monkeylord one. POD HD500 also has a slightly longer looper and more memory for storing stuff. And it has a few more buttons that make sort of operation of it a little easier. What we've done on the Andertons site is put a really simple comparison chart that shows you the difference between the 300, 400 and 500. So visit or see the comments section below for that link and you can go and check it out. But bear in mind, as I said, pretty much all the tones that we're getting today on the HD500 you could achieve on the 300 and the 400 as well. So
let's make a Monkeylord tone.
Let's make a tone.
I would like a JCM 800 with delay.
Yeah.
Like a really long delay, but quite subtle. Chorus. Let's start with that. Okay. Let's see what we get.
Well, I'm going to close up on the HD500 in a minute to go to this screen here, which is where the bulk of the editing is done. But before I do that, these buttons that you can see along here, which look like the sort of buttons that you'd see on the front of a guitar amplifier, are actually the buttons that I'm going to be using to dial in the basic amp tone. So you're not going to get a great view until I zoom in of what's going on here, but all I'm doing at the moment is just choosing a guitar amp sound for Rob. So at the moment all of the amp modeling is disabled on the HD500. So that's it. Just like plugging a guitar straight into an interface. So the first thing all I need to do is I enable the amplifier, and it defaults at the moment to I've got 4 basic controls here. I can choose the amplifier, I can choose the type of cab that it's going through, I can choose the way in which it's mic'd up, so I've got choices of different microphones, and I can also set up like a channel A and a channel B. But
can you choose different kinds of microphone, or just really?
No, different types of microphones. Wow. And that actually, I must admit, when I was mucking around doing my own patches on this, I actually found that was the easiest way of EQing it to get the sound that I wanted.
That's a massive difference using different ways.
So we won't bother with any of the amps that are famous for clean sounds. We'll just go straight for some amps that do some dirt. So I've got a whole ton. Again, hit the Andertons site if you want to see the full list. There are basically 16 different amplifiers here, along with, again, I think 16 different cabinets that you can mix and match. So you end up with, and again, a load of different microphones, so you get a zillion different things. So let's find the JCM 800. Here it is, and it defaults to going through just a standard Marshall 412.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, so that's it. It's defaulted also to an SM57 just off axes. So actually the mic that I quite like is the 421, which I think is a Sennheiser. So in fact, you just play and I'll scroll through. That's actually what it defaulted to. I'm guessing the clever people at Line 6 have obviously, each different amp model defaults to a specific microphone that they've obviously decided is the best. So, that's it, dead easy. I'm not going to bother changing the cabinet because I want it to be through a 412, but again, you can, in fact, we could just do some quick, if you play.
Put it through a 112.
We'll leave it on the Marshall. And now, of course, and this is the last thing I'm going to do before I zoom in and get closer on this screen. These are the controls. So just they're all what are called momentary controls. So as soon as I touch it, you can see the screen changes, and it's just like using a regular amp. So we'll get the right drive.
There you go. Good.
Happy with that? Okay. So basically that is my basic amp setting now. So I'm just going to rezoom the camera back in here close up so you can see how we add effects in. So I've zoomed in now, and hopefully you guys can see a good close up of what's going on here. There's my finger, look. I've named the patch Monkeylord. Already, and you can actually see now I've zoomed in, you can see the little cursor on the amplifier in the middle and that it's a brick J800 and the cabinet and the microphone and everything. So by moving the cursor left and right here, I've got these kind of empty effects blocks that I can add an effect to, and it's really, the idea with this is it's just like using your effects either before your preamp or through the effects loop. So if I put one on the left hand side of the amp, it's going to be before the amp. If I put it on the right hand side, it's going to be after, like an effects loop would be. And the way in which you chain up the effects as well will obviously affect the tone.
It's a tremendous learning tool for working out what effects you want to buy.
Yeah.
When you want to buy them in physical meat space form rather than digital form.
Yeah. These are all, whilst we're on that thing, these are all the exact same DSP processing that Line 6 use in their M series effects. So the M9 and the M13, which have been really, really popular kind of units, exactly the same in here. So basically, when I have no effect unit in the block, the first control just asks me to decide what type of effect that I've got. So we've got dynamic effects, distortion effects, modulation effects, filtering effects, pitch effects, EQ effects, delay effects, reverb effects. We've got volume and panning and wah, and then actually we've got an effects loop as well, so I can loop in external effects here if I want to. So what do you want first?
Delay. It needs a long delay.
Well, delay we're going to put after the amp, so we'll do that. We can put I'm going to move the cursor to the effects loop, sort of the sort of post amp position, and then we will find you a delay. The first one is a bit over the top, so. So I found when doing these, all the delay and reverb effects are mixed far too high on the presets.
Yeah, I want it nice and quiet.
So you'll have to back all these back. So the second knob along here allows me to change the type of delay. So we've got ping pongs, dynamics, stereo, digital delay with modulation, reverse delay, tube delays, blah, 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 loads of different ones.
Digital delay.
Let's just go. So we go for a straight digital delay.
I'm after a kind of Tremonti type delay.
Okay.
It's what the sacrifice.
The third button along here allows me to adjust the parameter. So I've got time,
that's much better.
Feedback, bass, treble, and mix.
Okay.
So you tell me. Do you want it?
So I want for it to recur for longer than one event.
Okay, that's feedback.
A little tiny bit more feedback. Pretty much good. Yeah, that's good.
Okay?
That's good. That's nice.
Sure?
Yeah, nice.
Okay. Do you want reverb as well?
A little bit of reverb.
Bit of reverb.
Spring reverb.
So we go to the next block and choose the reverb section. Again, lots of different types of reverb, but I know there's a spring reverb in here somewhere. I quite like the ducking reverb actually, because ducking reverb means that the reverb is reduced in its mix whilst you're playing, and then automatically when it hears the gaps in what you're playing, it brings the reverb back up a bit more. So
is the ducking obvious, or is it really?
It just kind of stops the sound from being sort of too washed out with reverb, but it's up to you.
Good. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.